This is the Kevin Trudeau Show.
I am exposing the corruption in government and in major multinational corporations. We're telling you the things that they don't want you to know that will make your life better. Hey, Kevin Trudeau here. Everything they don't want you to know about. Thank you for joining me. We have a new picture back there. Look at this picture here. Another picture that was found in some archive. This was in a museum. Somebody said they saw this, and allegedly that this person looks like me and it could be an ancestor. Allegedly. Thank you for joining me. Everything they don't want you to know about. We're going to have a great show today. I have been doing these shows now for quite a while. I'm giving you free information on how to improve the quality of your life. I know you're enjoying the show. Every week, more and more people are joining. It's being called one of the best shows on social media. Hope you're enjoying it. If you haven't seen some of the past shows, you have been missing out. So today I'm going to give you a couple clips of what you have been missing out on so you can see where this show has come from in just a few months and where it's going. One of the things that I talked about and what we talk about in the show is spirituality or oneness. We also talk about health. We talk about relationships. We talk about insider information, secret societies. We talk about a whole host of things. Wealth creation, law of attraction, how to use your mind to create your manifest your reality. Not from information that I know about. Information that I know firsthand and have experienced. And if you don't know my story or background, well, pay attention. You're getting first-hand, not second-hand. I'm not interviewing somebody who wrote a book, who interviewed other people, who wrote some books, who did some research, and you're getting this watered-down version of stuff. You're getting the real deal from the horse's mouth. One thing we talk about is a state of oneness. There's a state of consciousness. It's a state of oneness, which is joy, peace, love, and bliss on the inside. It's the ability to not be attached to things in the external world and not having the external world, events, circumstances, conditions, situations affect us in a negative way. That's a dream, right? Some people call this enlightenment. Some people call it spiritual awakening. Other people call it a high level of awareness or a high level of consciousness. Different things. At the end of the day, it's how to be happy. How to wake up in the morning and say, I love my life. So what is this state? Well, a few months ago, I gave a little dissertation, a discourse here on the show about the state of oneness. So take a listen to this. Hi, Kevin Trudeau here. You're live on the air.
Hello.
Hi. What's your question?
Hey, Kevin. You probably remember me from Chicago and with the guy with the gray suit.
Oh, sure. How are you?
I'm good. I got the money process number 1 done 2 weeks ago. My question is, can you explain what everything you talked about in lesson 1 when you said everything is one?
Sure. I'll talk about that right now. Hold on a sec. I'm going to hang up on you, but I'll answer that for everybody.
Thank you.
All right. First off, I have to change this. Kevin Trudeau Guru. So, Kevin Trudeau Guru was now speaking. The question was, in the money processes, and in the Guru Kev lessons, and if you've gone through the Success Mastery course that I've produced, or the Science of Personal Mastery course, I talk a lot about the fact that everything is one. Oh, this isn't, by the way, new. If you're our Orthodox Jew, there's a prayer, the most highest, I believe it's the highest prayer. You have to cover your eyes. It's called the Shema, the Shema Israel. And it says, God is one. Everything is one. In religions around the world, some religions talk specifically about that we are God's children. Okay. In other religions, we are an expression and an extension of the one universal God or the one universal consciousness. Some religions use the word God, some use consciousness, some use other terms or words, Allah, etc. The way it works, not theory, by the way, from actually experiencing it, the way it works cannot be described in words. It is ineffable. It is beyond the explanation of words. So I will use words to try to describe something to your mind that is beyond the mind. The challenge is the mind can never understand or comprehend what's beyond itself. Now think about that. Let's say that you are a native to an island in the South Pacific. And in this remote island in the South Pacific, civilization, as we know it, has not come. You're still living in a hut made from grass. You have no factory, no pens, no paper, no cell phones. You have no mechanized anything. Everything is made by hand, like it was 5,000 years ago. So think about that. You have no TV, no radio. You've never seen anything. You've never seen a plane. You've never seen a mechanized boat or boat with an engine. You've never seen anything. Everything, you are living in the same way, with the same knowledge as your ancestors did 5,000 years ago. So think about that. And so now somebody actually lands on your island. And it's an island that's in the South Pacific. It's warm. And the first thing the person says is, do you know what ice is? What's ice? Well, ice is cold. Do you know what cold is? What's cold? Do you know what snow is? What's snow? Well, ice is water that becomes hard like a stone. So it's water that becomes like a rock. You'd look at that person and you go, water becomes like a rock? It would be something you could not comprehend. No matter how I explain snow or ice to you, you couldn't comprehend it. And if I tried to explain a cell phone to you, you couldn't comprehend it. It would be beyond your level of understanding. Does that make sense? So I'm going to try to explain something which is beyond the comprehension of the mind. In the universe, there is no universe. The universe and everything in it is an illusion. It is what's called the world of duality, where we have matter, energy, space, and time. We have a this and a that, a here and a there. And you're saying, this is an illusion, Kevin. That's hard. That's real. Kevin, I'm not there. You're there. I'm here. This is an illusion. This is reality. It is real. I understand that's what the mind can comprehend. But beyond this, there's energy. And beyond energy, there's a static. It's called consciousness or the Atman, depending on the tradition you grew up in. And this static is one. And out of this oneness, which is pure benevolence, pure love, pure joy, pure bliss, pure consciousness, pure awareness, there is no duality. There is no good and right, or evil and good, and up and down, or north or south, or here or there. There's no time. There's no space. There's nothing. There's no judgment, because there's nothing to judge. It's only one. And out of this oneness emerged the many. And this is what the scriptural text for thousands of years said. Out of the one became the many. This is when the veil, you've heard sometimes the term, the veil started. The veil was the beginning of duality, and it was the illusion, because the illusion is there's something here. Let me give you an example of what the illusion is. The illusion is you're sitting and you're watching a marionette play. Do you know what marionettes are? Marionettes are wooden figures, and they have strings attached to them. And you're watching the play, and there's two marionettes, this one and this one, and they're fighting each other with a sword. And you're watching this play, and one marionette kills the other one. Ah! That's the illusion. Because if you look up, you see the puppet master. The puppet master is actually controlling both puppets. What you just watched was an illusion. No one killed anyone. There was not one puppet and another puppet because there was only one puppet master controlling both puppets. In oneness, there's one. Every single person is an expression and extension of the one. This is why in some traditions they use the word the self, and we are all the same self. This is the great mystery. This is the great illusion. This is the great, incomprehensible secret of the world, secret of the universe, secret of everything, that there's one. And if someone were to say, Kevin, what should we do in life? Is there something? Every guru, every spiritual master who's enlightened means that they are aware. They have seen all. That's what enlightened means. They have light where there was darkness. And what enlightenment truly means, a self-perfected or self-realized master, the reason why it's called self-realization is they've realized the self, the oneness. That's all. And what happens is, when you as a spiritual being transcend the physical body and transcend the dimensions, transcend the spiritual realm, and you pierce or cross the veil. The veil is the separation between the illusional world of duality and reality, which is one. It's when you see the puppet master and you realize you are the puppet master and there's only one puppet master. And when you cross that veil and merge into the static or merge into the universal consciousness that is all things, the experience of bliss and joy is beyond comprehension. It's what in the Christian Bible it says, the love of God that surpasses all human comprehension will envelop you. And when you experience that, you experience a sense of connectedness, of oneness with every person, everything, every place, in a way that is ineffable. The joy is beyond comprehension. The bliss is beyond comprehension. And you know all. You have no questions. You are in a state of being, which is pure love. Gurus around the world, when asked, is there any secret you can tell me? They say, one, and love everyone without exception and without condition. That's the secret. There's one, and love everyone, including yourself, without exception and without condition. Attach yourself to someone who is anchored in that oneness, in that love, and that bliss, and that joy. And if you anchor yourself to someone who's there, they will not give you a handout, but they will give you a hand up. They have followed a path that has brought them to nirvana, to paradise. And they know the road. They know the pitfalls. And if you attach yourself to that person, they can lead you and make your journey smoother and quicker and faster and easier to that place of bliss and joy that surpasses all human comprehension. Choose a path. Choose a spiritual leader. Choose a guru. Choose someone that resonates with you. I know many of them around the world. Some people look for me for that. You choose. I can tell you, it's worth the trip. It's worth the trip. Victory is always worth the struggle. Welcome back. State of oneness is something special, and it's something we can all attain. Increased bliss, joy, peace, happiness, serenity, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of, I love my life. It can happen to you. Seek first what's in. Look within, and all the things around you will start getting better, better, and better. Another area we talk about is health. In America, and also around the world, men, your testosterone levels are going down. That's not good. In America, for example, we consume more Viagra and Cialis than all the other countries in the world combined. I guess guys in America just have a hard time getting an erection and keeping an erection. Sorry, girls. The American men just aren't up to par with the rest of the world, based on the amount of Viagra and Cialis that is consumed. That would lead one to believe that's true. But if you actually look at testosterone levels of people in America, men in America, it's much lower than other countries. Not good, guys. I did a segment on testosterone. Take a listen to this. The globalist agenda is not what you think it is. I touched on it a few episodes ago. If you didn't see it, you should go back and watch it. But the globalist agenda is something, and again, the globalist agenda, I'm sitting in the Bilderberg meeting. I know what it is. It's not what you hear on many of these other shows. It's not. The globalist agenda is not what you think. One of the things of the globalist agenda is let's get men, particularly around the world, more docile, less motivated, less inspired, less driven. This will reduce rebellion. This has been done throughout history. When the British were in China, what did they do? Let's get the Chinese hooked on opium. That'll make them docile. It'll make them just reduce their ability to resist. When Europeans took Africans out of Africa and brought them around the world and enslaved them, they used techniques to try to take these vibrant, independent, intelligent, strong people and break their will so they would become subservient and become slaves. And it was difficult. But in many cases, it did happen. So there has been, throughout history, governments and people in power always trying to reduce the drive of particularly men, because this will reduce rebellion. One way that was discovered very easily was if we can reduce the level of testosterone, the hormone testosterone in men, they will become more docile. This is happening in prisons, by the way, all across America and around the world. I know for a fact because I have firsthand experience there. So I saw the techniques. Years ago, one technique was to put saltpeter in food, and that would reduce testosterone in men. Castration obviously eliminates testosterone in men. So the reason that governments, and again, I was in the meetings in Bilderberg when this was discussed, and this has been going on for a long time, and I was there as this was being discussed. So how do we do it? So imagine you're in the Bilderberg meeting now. Welcome to the Bilderberg meeting. Again, former insider. So here we are in the Bilderberg meeting, and here's how the meeting kind of goes. And I'm going to give you a very quick summation. The meeting kind of goes like this. We all agree that we need to reduce drive in men. Yes, of course. Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the easiest ways to do it. Easiest ways to do it is in the water. Because people drink water all over the world, and they put the water in sodas, they put the water in coffee, they put the water in tea, they drink water, they put water in soups. If it's in the water, it's the easiest thing. So what can we put in the water that can reduce testosterone? Yes, president of Pfizer. Drugs. Real simple. There are drugs that will not break down. If we get drugs into the supply, many of them will be tossed. They'll be tossed down the toilet. They'll be put in landfills, and we'll just get them into the water supply. They'll be just leaching into the water supply. Simple enough. We'll develop drugs and making sure that these drugs, even in minuscule amounts, will have an effect on reducing testosterone. Perfect. Oh, by the way, I don't have the paper here, but we'll find it. That was discovered now. What I just said was actually now discovered and proven to be true. That water supplies around the U.S. and the world, mostly the U.S., when analyzed to the shock of the researchers, contained massive traces of pharmaceutical drugs. Which is why you need to have a water filter in your house, because you're showering in this water. Your body is the largest organ in absorbing all the toxins. So the water supply. There are drugs in the water supply, and now there's nanoparticles from the plastics. These reduce testosterone. I'm going to go give you a couple other items here real quickly, then I'm going to go to the phone lines. Soy. Soy mostly is genetically modified soy from Monsanto in America. And around the world, it varies. But soy, even just plain soy, increases estrogen and reduces testosterone. When it's genetically modified soy, it's like soy on steroids. It dramatically increases estrogen levels and dramatically reduces testosterone. So here we are at the Bilderberg meeting. They say, any other ideas? Soy. We'll convince everyone that soy is good for them, and we'll make sure that our soy product is very cheap. So we can get soybean oil put in everything, salad dressings, soups, you name the processed food, we'll get soybean oil, and we'll make sure that soybean oil and canola oil, which is another one, will be used in frying. Therefore, anybody who's eating fried foods is getting the soy, which in addition to reducing testosterone levels, also screw up the stomach and the digestion. It'll give people gas and bloating, and this just will reduce their drive and initiative and make them more docile. And quite frankly, because it's reducing testosterone levels, it'll also make them more susceptible to suggestion. Perfect. Soy. Now, everybody else, corn. Genetically modified corn from Monsanto. We know that we can get corn in everything. Corn syrup solids, corn starch. How about high fructose corn syrup? We'll eliminate sugar from sugar cane and we'll replace it with high fructose corn syrup. We can make it cheaper. It'll last longer, and the consumption of it will, in addition to reducing testosterone levels, because it's genetically modified corn that we originally designed to give to cattle to make them get fat faster, when the stupid Americans eat it and people around the world, it'll make them blow up like a balloon. And if they're fat, that's going to reduce testosterone levels, and they're going to be so tired and have all clogged arteries, they're not going to have any drive or motivation or resistance. They'll be basically, their brain will be foggy, and we'll be able to give them suggestion. Good idea. What else? Beef and dairy. Because genetically modified corn is being fed to the cows, instead of, cows don't eat corn, they eat grass. But if we feed the cows just genetically modified corn and we'll sell it, it's corn-fed beef. It's better. No, it's not. It's loaded with the corn. It will, the amount of CLA, which is a linoleic acid, that's in beef will go down dramatically. Now, if a person eats beef, instead of helping raise their testosterone, it'll lower their testosterone, plus give them all types of illness and disease. We can also inject the beef with bovine growth hormone and antibiotics, which will also lower testosterone and increase disease. And we can create a feed. In addition to the genetically modified corn, we'll take ground up dead diseased pigs, chickens, horses, cows, grind that up and feed it to the cow. Cow is a vegetarian. He's not supposed to be eating ground up dead chickens, pigs, horses, and cows that were diseased, too diseased to even put in pet food. Okay, good idea. What else? Hydrogenated oil. These hydrogenated oils, we'll put them in cookies, we'll put them in everything. Hydrogenated oil. We can put it in peanut butter. So the kids, right from the beginning, are eating hydrogenated oil, and then their testosterone levels are going down. They'll blow up like a balloon and get fat. Hydrogenated oil. Perfect. Good idea. What else? We mentioned canola oil, and then next guy, anything genetically modified. We can genetically modify food, and we can make sure that we'll genetically modify it under scientific testing to make sure that our genetically modified food is being genetically modified to reduce testosterone levels. Perfect. MSG, monosodium glutamate. We can thank our good friend Donald Rumsfeld. He got the payoff, and now it's legal. We know it's an excitotoxin, aspartame. So monosodium glutamate is the same thing. So we can use excitotoxins like monosodium glutamate and aspartame, the artificial sweetener. And there's a new one called sucralose. So we'll throw sucralose in there too. And here's the best one. Oh, great idea. We'll put sucralose in bodybuilding drinks. So like Gatorade and all that stuff, all the energy drinks and protein powders. So now these brain dead gym rats who don't know any better, oh, I'm going to eat my protein. Oh, I want big muscles. Good. They get no testosterone. Their testicles shrink. They got good muscle. But they got no drive. They got no motivation. Sucralose. Man, look and see if sucralose is in your food. And then last week we talked about wheat and the dough conditioners, which are illegal all around the world except in America. So we'll make sure that the wheat is only fermented for 8 hours instead of 48. So it gives all type of gas and bloating, messes up the hormone levels in both men and women, makes them fat, makes them tired, makes them lethargic, makes them brain foggy. And if you're brain foggy, now they'll watch TV or see some ad flashed in their face, and they'll be like, yes, okay. I mean, we can hypnotize people like that. So this is what's going on with testosterone. So what is the solution? All right, so here's the solution. Number one, I'll just go through this real quick. This is not rocket science. Just look at the label. But don't read the front of the label. That's the lies. All natural. If it says all natural, throw it away. They're lying to you. All natural means nothing. Nothing. If it says 100% organic, now you're looking pretty good. Still doesn't mean anything. It's better. You have to read the label. But that isn't even that helpful because there's 15,000 chemicals, last time I counted, could be different now, that you can put in food that you don't have to put on the label. But let's just start. Not just organic, because there's 3 levels. Made with organic ingredients. That means like 10% of the ingredients can be organic. Organic, that means 80% can be organic. 100% organic, that means actually like 95% can be organic. So number one, look for 100% organic. As best you can, don't be fanatical, relax a little bit. Okay. But soy. If it has soy anywhere on the label, throw it away. Next, if there's anything with the word corn syrup solids, high fructose corn syrup, just throw it away. Next, if it has hydrogenated oil, throw it away. If it has canola oil, throw it away. If it has to say non-GMO, if the label doesn't say non-GMO, that means there are genetically modified organisms in it, throw it away. Monosodium glutamate, throw it away. Aspartame, which is NutraSweet. Sucralose, throw it away. So that's what you throw away. That makes it easy. And if it says wheat or gluten, throw it away, unless it's a product from Italy. Well, if I come to your house, we're throwing out everything in your house. But if you come to my house, you ain't throwing out anything. And you can eat like a king, man. You want peanut butter? I got peanuts from Ecuador that are heirloom wild peanuts. Fan-freaking-tastic. You want peanut butter? I throw it in my Vitamix, little pinch of sea salt, and I whip that up, and I got beautiful, smooth as silk peanut butter. If you want it a little bit sweet, you can throw in little raw honey to sweeten it up a smidge, a tinge of cinnamon as well. And you can throw that on some crackers from Italy with real 48-hour fermented wheat, so you don't have no bloating, and delicious. Or I like them also on raw celery, delicious. I also like them on organic Honeycrisp apples, delicious. You can eat like a king at my house. You want pot roast? No problem. You want mashed potatoes and gravy? No problem. It's just the ingredients. Next, beef. If you want to increase your testosterone, choose 100% grass-fed beef. Beef from Argentina is usually grass-fed, but you want 100% grass-fed. They keep changing how they label grass-fed. Oh, it's grass-fed, but it's not grass-finished. Or it's grass-fed, which means they ate some stuff during their life, and then at the end of their life, they're given grass, and they can be called grass-fed. You want 100% grass-fed beef that was weaned when the calf was born, and then they eat grass for the rest of their life, and only grass. They're eating grass, nothing man-made. The reason is that beef is going to be loaded in something called CLA. And if you eat this, your testosterone levels are going to go up. I have friends of mine who went to Argentina for 3 weeks. He comes back and he goes, I don't know what's wrong with me, man. I feel like I'm Superman. I feel like I can want to get to the gym. I want to pump iron. I want to chase women. What's going on? I says, and he goes, and women are coming up to me. They're talking to me. I go, because your body is throwing out pheromones, which are attracting women, and you have so much testosterone because I bet you ate a lot of beef in Argentina. He goes, like 3 times a day. I go, yeah. The Argentinian grass-fed beef is loading you up. And so now your body never had this before. You're producing so much testosterone. You're strong. I bet you're sleeping like a rock. You get tons of energy throughout the day. You have drive. And he goes, yeah, I feel like I'm Superman. I feel like I'm on some drug. It is. It's called testosterone. It's a natural hormone. So beef. Also dairy products. Dairy products are the same. You can't just get organic milk. You have to get organic milk from 100% grass-fed cows. If you're going to eat cheese, nothing in America. Stay away from America. Unless it says from grass-fed, it's still garbage. Go to France. They don't even have to say grass-fed. If it's raw cheese from France or Switzerland or Italy, you're in great shape. That's going to make a difference. Couple supplements. You can take what's called deer antler velvet. There's a couple of different brands out there. I don't know what the best brand is today, but deer antler velvet, athletes use it. It's been proven to increase testosterone levels. And I'll tell you another trick. And this is not only a trick that's going to give you testosterone levels. This, by the way, all these recommendations are good for women as well as men because it's going to balance out your hormone levels. Well, I don't want to increase my testosterone. I'm a woman. Don't worry. If you do everything I'm telling you, it's going to balance out your hormones, which means you're going to have easier periods. You're not going to have hot flashes if you're going through menopause, and you're not going to gain weight because your hormones are going to be balanced. Your moods are going to be better. Your energy level is going to be better. It's going to be easy for your body to burn fat. You're also not going to bloat, so your stomach will flatten out, gals. It works great for both men and women. These are just basic health recommendations. Now, the last one is not only good for the hormones or for testosterone, but it's also great for the way food tastes. Back a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there was a company called McDonald's. And McDonald's had the best tasting French fries. And everyone knew that McDonald's French fries tasted fantastic. Then they stopped tasting fantastic and they're just okay. What made McDonald's French fries so good? It's what they cooked the potato in. They didn't use canola oil or soybean oil or hydrogenated oils like they do today. They go rancid like that. You know what they used to cook the French fries in? Beef fat. You want healthy? You cook with beef fat from 100% grass-fed cows, or duck fat, or pork lard, ideally from organic pigs. That's one that's kind of on the outside. They all have what's called a high flash point, which means you can crank up the heat. If you want to fry French fries, if you want to fry chicken, if you want to fry okra, if you want to do any frying or any sauteing, you're going to make a schnitzel. You cook it in one of those 3 types of fat, it is going to taste fantastic, and it is healthy for you. And now all the people at the American Heart Association are going to go, no, you want polyunsaturated fats, use saturated fats, they cause heart disease. They're wrong. And I'm not a scientist, but all you have to do is look at the research. They're lying to you because they want you to start being stupid and start going to corn oil and soybean oil and canola oil, hydrogenated oils to become rancid. They want your testosterone levels to go down. Beef fat, duck fat, or pork fat. From the highest grade, it will make your food taste better. It'll be unbelievably healthy. Your stomach will flatten out. You won't get gas and bloating, because if you're cooking in canola oil or vegetable oil or Wesson oil or any of these vegetable oils or hydrogenated oils, they go rancid just like that. And if they're almost all genetically modified, so you're screwed. Your whole stomach is getting all messed up because of the GMOs, the genetically modified organisms. Now, somebody will say, but what about things like sunflower oil or grapeseed oil or extra virgin olive oil? Hey, you can saute an extra virgin olive oil. That's excellent. The problem is it doesn't have a high flash point, which means you can't crank the heat up. It'll burn. Butter will burn, so you can use ghee, which is clarified butter. That's another great fat to use, ghee. It's butter where they take the water out. It's called clarified butter or ghee, Ghee, used in Indian cooking quite extensively. It has a high flash point. It won't burn, and it gives you the buttery taste. Make sure it's ghee from grass-fed cows. But that's very good. Sunflower oil, make sure it's not genetically modified. Peanut oil, make sure it's not genetically modified. That's been used in Asia, in Chinese cooking, in woks for a long time. The problem is to try to find one that doesn't have all the mold and the fungus. If it comes from America, probably not so good. If it comes from China, probably worse. So it's hard to find good quality peanut oil today. It is. But that's not a bad option as well, as long as it's organic and make sure it says no non-GMO. So you can use those vegetable oils. But the vegetable oil will go rancid much quicker than the beef fat or duck fat or pork blend. Health, wealth, and happiness. That's what we're talking about today. First, we talked about happiness, state of oneness. Now we're talking about health with testosterone, a little taste of that. And the third major pillar that we talk about in this show is wealth creation. I did a segment on the differences between a wealthy person's brain activity and the average person's brain activity. We've gotten probably more response from this segment than anything else. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Take a listen to one of the most misunderstood and least talked about secrets of manifesting things and making money. Listen to this segment. The companies I've been associated with, the companies I've owned, if you add them all together, it's estimated of 20, 25 billion in sales worldwide. Nobody knows for sure. It's huge money, though, clearly. So I've manifested a lot, but personal wealth acquisition was never my thing. Spiritual liberation and freedom was. That was the main track that I was on, and that was kind of my secret track in the brotherhood, because I was doing some very powerful things with the mind and spirituality and so forth. And the lifestyle was there so that later on, and when my mission came to be a public teacher of this material, I could justify saying, I know this stuff, and I don't just know about this stuff. One of the things that was powerful was knowing how, the exact how to manifest goals, dreams, and desires. And I told this story at the high-level training for the Global Information Network members. I'm going to tell it to you. Back in the 80s, I had a company called the American Memory Institute, which was the largest memory training school in the world. We taught people all around the world, hundreds of thousands, over millions of people, how to develop a near photographic instant recall memory. So they could walk into a room, meet 30 or 40 people, and remember everybody's name. Or a student can study for an exam and remember everything for the test time. Or you could remember and make a speech without notes. You could remember things to do, appointments, directions. Basically have this superpower memory, this instant recall ability. And I was teaching these seminars around the world. It was fun, and it was ridiculously profitable. We were making millions and millions and millions and millions in profits teaching memory training. And I had a crew of guys that we would go out and we would do speeches and talk about the memory course. I would do interviews on radio shows and TV shows, talk about the memory course. People would then call and they would purchase a ticket to one of the memory seminar courses, workshops that we had around the world. And I would teach many of these, and I trained guys to teach the memory course as well. And I trained guys how to sell the memory course, how to make speeches and presentations to sell the memory course. And I trained guys on how to teach the memory course. But I still was out there selling it, and because I loved to do it. And I was doing the radio shows and TV shows, and I was on all these different shows. I remember one time I was on a radio show in New Jersey, and this fellow calls up and he says, Kevin, I'm so glad to talk to you. I bought your memory course. It was the best thing I ever did. I said, well, why is that? He goes, well, I'm in the I'm in the stock industry, you know, the investment world on Wall Street. And he goes, and what happened was when I took your memory course, I committed to memory all 1,500 of the New York Stock Exchange companies and their stock symbols. And when I went into my interview for a job I really wanted, there was over 100 people applying for the same position. And I told them about my powerful memory. So they tested me. And they were blown away. They would say, hey, Charlie, come in here. You got to check this guy out. Because every time I went in for the follow-up interview, I would remember everyone I met. So I would call everyone by their first and last name. Hey, Joe Sulo, good to see you. Franklin Motello, good to see you. He goes, I was like a freak show. Because I obviously got the job. I've gotten 3 promotions since then. I make speeches without notes. He says, I'm making more money than I could ever imagine because of this memory power. He said, but the best part is everybody thinks I'm smart. And he goes, I'm not too sure if I am, just because I can remember everything, but I certainly appear to be a genius. So I would do this, and it was a lot of fun and very, very profitable. One thing you have to do, though, if you want to manifest goals, dreams, and desires, and if you watch the Peter Sage interview on one of my previous shows, or watch the 10 Steps to Manifesting, if you're a GYN member that I gave at Leadership Weekend, or have gone through the Yours is Your Command training, or the Success Mastery course training that I've done, or the Science of Personal Mastery course training, you know that in order to manifest something, you have to be uncomfortable with your current position. There has to be something that is driving you to change, or driving you to manifest something that you don't currently have. You can't wish, because wishful thinking doesn't relate to anything. You can't want something, because that's putting out the feeling of lack. And wanting means the universe is going to give you situations, events, conditions, circumstances, and people so that you're always wanting, but never having. You have to need it. You have to need something. That is a burn. That need comes because of pain. And when you need something, you can't live in need because then you'll never get it, because then the universe will always make sure you're feeling a need. But when you need something, that's when you can go and experience contrast. In other words, you know what you don't want clearly, and it's giving you a burn, a feeling of pain. So now you need to change. You need something different. That's when you can clearly define what you do want. And then you focus on what you want. You see yourself in possession of it. And then you feel now as if you were actually in attainment of it. Then you release attachment to that outcome by saying, and it's okay if it never happens, while still maintaining that feeling as if you did actually have it. That's when the windows of heaven open and stuff starts coming in. You're broadcasting on a theta beta wave, if your hippocampus is big enough and you've learned how to broadcast on theta, instead of broadcasting on the slave wave or the poverty wave of beta coming out of your brain. Well, I knew this, and I was happy. We were traveling around the world, young guys in our 20s making millions of dollars. This is back in the 80s. I mean, that's huge money, driving Porsches and Ferraris and Rolls Royces and everything in our 20s, you know, getting custom clothes, I mean, dropping money everywhere, Rolex watches, diamond rings worth million. I mean, I had $1 million worth of jewelry. If you go back and look at pictures back then, and going to fancy restaurants, everything was just like the best of everything. I mean, you know, it's like a hip hop star. The money was just like flowing like milk and honey. So it's hard to get uncomfortable. But I wanted to show all my colleagues how the manifestation process worked. Because people were coming up to me and saying, hey, listen, you got this great life, but, you know, were you lucky? I mean, things just kind of fell into place. I go, well, I manifested it. I manifested what I wanted. All right, so I have to manifest something different to show you that it actually works. This is how it happened. So I sat there and I said, okay, well, there was a bunch of guys sitting in the room. I'll show you how it works. I says, I am going to now really think about my current situation and try to find something that I don't like, which was hard to do. But I thought, I'm traveling. I have to work every day. I have to go out, put my suit on, go out and do speeches. I have to teach the training, because if I don't train the salesmen, if I don't train the instructors, if I don't do some of the instructing, if I don't do some of the selling, the company's not going to continue to grow. So a lot of the income has to do with my ability to perform. If I took a 3 or 4 month or 6 month vacation or a 1 year vacation, the income's going to just collapse in. And now I thought, I don't like that. I don't like having to work. I want to do nothing. I want to travel the world for a year and take a world tour and just do nothing for a year. Just enjoy and spend money. That's what I want to do. And I want money to be pouring into my bank account, a minimum of $50,000 a week, being deposited in my bank account every single week. And I don't have to do anything. It just comes in. So I wrote that down. That was my dream, that I do not have to work. I'm traveling around the world, spending money like a drunken sailor, having the time of my life, and $50,000 minimum is just pouring into my bank accounts every single week, and I don't have to do anything for it. And all my friends said, but how are you going to do that? And I said, stop. You don't have to worry about the how. The universe will figure that out. All you have to define is what you want and get in alignment. It has to be something, however, that you feel could actually happen. For most people, for most of you, you don't believe that's even possible. But I knew it was possible because I had a lot of trust fund kids that I was with in the Brotherhood. They had $100 million in a trust fund, earning 10% dividends and interest. They were getting $10 million a year, and they didn't have to do anything, just on dividends and interest. Just on dividends and interest. They could live on that. They could live on that. Just had an interesting glitch with the camera. So I knew it was possible. I knew that some magical thing could happen. I had guys that I knew that got royalties, that they had money coming in from things that they had did, from inventions. I had guys in the Brotherhood that made inventions and got patents, and they got royalties. Hey, I don't know. I wasn't going to patent anything. I wasn't a trust fund kid, but I knew it was possible. And I also know that it's off the radar screen, and I don't have to figure it out. All I have to know that it's possible, and I'll let the universe figure it out. So I was with these guys, and I wrote this down, and you have to write it down. And I saw myself in possession of this, and I felt now as if I was actually living that dream. And then I released attachment to the yoke. About 2 weeks later, I was in New York City, staying at the Plaza Hotel, in the largest suite in the Plaza Hotel. And I wanted to go to a famous deli called the Carnegie Deli. They were famous for their corned beef and pastrami sandwiches. So I went to the Carnegie Deli, and they have these long tables. And at each table, there's maybe 8 or 9 chairs on one side, 8 or 9 chairs on another side. And you sit at this table, so you're kind of sitting next to someone you don't know. And you're sitting across from the person you're with. So if it's busy, there's a person over here you don't know, there's a person over here you don't know, and it's busy. So I sat down, and I ordered a Danny Rose sandwich, which is a half corned beef, half pastrami, on rye, of course. And there's mustard at the table, and you put mustard on it. It's about this big. So I get my Danny Rose sandwich. I'm with my girlfriend at the time. And the guy sitting right next to my girlfriend right there, I look at him, and I'm thinking, oh, he looks familiar. I'm in New York. A lot of famous people go to this place. So I look at him, and then it rings a bell, because I am a memory expert. And I said to him, hey, your name is Bobby Singer, the blackjack expert. He goes, that's right. I said, I've seen you on TV do those infomercials, and I actually bought your course on how to make money playing blackjack, called the Bobby Singer Method. And it was basically how to count playing cards and how to use a basic betting strategy so you could win. And Bobby Singer was so good, he's banned from playing blackjack. He was in what's called the Griffin Book. So he was banned. He didn't do anything illegal. They just say, you're too good for us. Even though you're playing legal, you're not cheating. It's 100% legal. The casinos have the right to say, we don't want your play. So he's been banned. So rather than play blackjack, he decided to sell a course on it. So I bought it. And I said, hey, listen, I bought your course and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And he goes, how did you do with it? And I says, well, it was really easy for me because I'm a memory expert. I can remember all the playing cards, so it's really easy. He goes, what do you mean a memory expert? I goes, well, yeah, I teach memory training. I teach people how to improve their memory. We do seminars around the world, blah, blah, blah. And he said, you should record one of those seminars, put it on cassette tape, and sell it on a TV infomercial. And I said, well, actually, you don't know our business and our customer. That's not going to work because the people that buy our course generally are salespeople, business professionals, because they want to make money and they need to remember names or, product codes or things like that. And in business, a powerful memory means money. Good memory means more money in business. So I don't think it'll sell on television. And he goes, no, it'll definitely sell on TV. I said, no, I don't think it will. And he goes, well, I'll tell you what, I'll put up all the money. I'll shoot the infomercial. I'll do everything and just pay you a royalty. So what do you got to lose? I go, well, I really wouldn't want to do that because I don't want you to waste your money. I would feel terrible about you investing in the production of a TV infomercial, investing in the production of the product, investing in the inventory of the product, investing in buying media and testing it out. You could lose $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. I would feel terrible about that. He goes, no, I'll risk it because I think it'll work. Here's my business card. He goes, give me your contact details. I'm going to send you a contract. We're going to do a deal. I said, I think this is a big mistake because I don't think it's going to work. It's your story. I go back to the Plaza Hotel. I pick up the phone, and back then we didn't have cell phones. This is in 1988. I pick up the phone and I call my home phone where my answering machine is, and I hit the code in to see if there's any messages. And there's a message from a guy named Dr. Alex Duarte, good friend of mine. He goes, Kevin, it's Dr. Duarte. I'm in Lake Tahoe, Nevada, and I bumped into an old friend of yours, Ed Beckley. Ed Beckley did one of the first TV infomercials in 1984 called The Millionaire Maker. How to buy real estate with no money down. Ed asked me what you were doing, and I told him about the success of your memory training business. And Ed said that you should put that on cassette tape, make it into a home study course, and sell it on TV. He'll put up all the money. Give me a call. Are you getting chills down your body right now as you're listening to this? 2 weeks earlier, I put together, this is what I want. And in 2 weeks, on the same day, I got 2 people offering to put up all the money to do a TV infomercial for a memory course. I don't even see that this is an answer to my prayer. I don't even get it. That's how dumb I was. How slow. Because it was off the radar screen. So I call up Ed Beckley and go, listen, I met this guy named Bobby Singer. He goes, I know Bobby Singer. Bobby's terrific. I says, well, why should I go with you versus Bobby? He goes, you can go with Bobby. Bobby will do a great job. He's a great guy. I think I'll do a better job. I'd like to work with you. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, whoever sends me the contract first is who I'll go with, but I both think you're dumb because I don't think it's going to work. A week later, via Federal Express. Now, back then, if you got the Federal Express man to come to your house, it was like the biggest thing since sliced bread. So I remember the Federal Express man coming, ringing the doorbell to the office and handing me a Federal Express envelope. And everybody in the office is going, ooh, the Federal Express guy, ooh. So I opened it up. It's a contract from my good friend, Ed Beckley. And he was working with a guy named Kevin Harrington. Some of you may know him. Kevin Harrington, super great guy, him and his brother Tim. They owned a company called Quantum Marketing back then. Kevin Harrington was one of the first sharks on the U.S. version of Shark Tank. So we get on the phone, we tweak the contract a little bit, and I sign it. About a week later, I get the contract also from Federal Express from Bobby Singer. So I had to call up Bobby Singer and say, hey, Bobby, sorry, but I signed with Ed Beckley. He sent me the contract a week ago. He goes, man, I think I blew a lot of profits. By the way, years later, Bobby Singer and I were at the head table of a convention for the National Infomercial Marketing Association where I was actually deemed the infomercial king. And Bobby Singer says, you know, by missing that contract by 1 week, probably cost you around $30 million in profits. I go, cost you a lot more. He was like, oh no. I was slow. If I was faster. I go, yeah, Bobby, I know. So we signed the contract. And I said, look, this infomercial, how do you do an infomercial? They said, well, we have to write a script. I go, I'm not an actor. I'm not reading a teleprompter. I'm not doing a script. I go, let me tell you what we're going to do. I said, you're going to basically just fill a room with people. I'm going to get up there and do the same presentation I do all the time and just film it. That's all you have to do. You mean you don't need a teleprompter? I go, I do this presentation every day. I know how to do it. Just, I'll show up in a suit and tie. You put makeup on me, put a microphone on me, say go. I will give my presentation, film it, and we're done. You just edit the call to action, maybe get a couple testimonials from some of my students, put that in, and you're good. They go, this will be the easiest infomercial and the cheapest we ever shot. And Ed said, but I think it's going to work. So we went to Fairfield, Iowa, which is the transcendental meditation capital of the world. And we got a studio there with Hawthorne Marketing. They had the studio, and we worked with them, and Ed Beckley was working with them. So they got the cameras, and they built the set. They filled it up with people. And I went in there, and I shot the show. And I went home. My total time commitment was flying in the night before, shooting the show in the morning, flying out that afternoon. I did nothing else. About 6 weeks later, the show was edited and put on the air. And it was working. People were buying. About 8 weeks later, I got my first royalty check. And it was deposited on a Friday. Remember I told you I want a check being deposited in my account every week. The first check, the first one, was over $100,000 for the week. My royalty. I remember my biggest check was over 580 something thousand for the week. For the week. Every Friday, I got a check for way over $50,000. Way over $50,000. We did over $450 million in sales of that one product over the years. My royalty was over 10%. You can do the math. You get what you ask for. Welcome back. The trifecta of success, health, wealth, and happiness. That's what we talk about on this show. We also talk about this at length in the club that I formed almost 15 years ago called the Global Information Network. If you are liking the show, liking the material we have here, check out the Global Information Network website. Go to globalinformationnetwork.com. Check out the website, peruse it. It's a club that you might want to consider joining. And if you join, it's only $38. I mean, seriously. If you join, you get a ticket, a free ticket to a weekend event with me and all the other members. The ticket is a $5,000 value. It's worth more than that. Les Brown, I was just talking to him recently. He puts on a 3-day event and charges $15,000. So we have an event, a world-class success event, Friday night, all day Saturday night with a world-class black tie dinner, Sunday morning. The event, minimum $5,000 ticket. I'm there. You get a free ticket just for joining the club for $38. And if you can't come live, because we put on the events all over the world, you can look at the date and location that fits for you. We also broadcast them virtually, and you can watch the event. It'll be a life-changing event. And you get that ticket. It's a $5,000 ticket. Chance to meet me personally, get a photo, autograph, free of charge just by joining our club. So check out globalinformationnetwork.com, peruse it, read it. If it resonates with you, consider joining. People from all over the world. We have members now in over 125 countries, I think close to 150 countries. They love it. And I think you will too. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, share this, leave some comments, and enjoy the show every single week, Monday and Friday at 1 o'clock Chicago time. I'm Kevin Trudeau, sending you much love, and may you never be the same.